Chicago?
I'm here because I want to talk to Ohioans, and we just had the groundbreaking for a $20 million school that, Pike County gets ignored, and Ross County gets ignored far too often. I grew up in a community a bit bigger than this, but I'm an 88 county US Senator, and that means doing my job. It means the Pike County helped the United States win the Cold War, and a number of people got sick because of exposure to the nuclear enrichment fallout. And I spend the week talking to Ohioans, a lot more Ohioans in Ohio than there are in Chicago. Hard to argue with that line, isn't it?
There you go.
Colleen Marshall wants to know if the momentum of the DNC is helping your campaign.
I don't know. I think in terms of my doing my job, I make the contrast between Bernie Moreno and me that I fight for workers, and he has cheated to the tune of at least $400,000 over time and then shreds the documents. And it's clear that I've delivered in Pike County today on two things: a worker training center and that school to replace their old school because Pike County helped us win the Cold War. So I'll make those contrasts anytime.
What do grassroots things like today mean to you?
Well, the national, essentially a Wall Street billionaires club just dropped $12 million in me in my race against me. I expect that. I've spent my career taking on drug companies, taking on Wall Street, taking on oil companies. That means they're going to outspend me. That's why these 30 or 40 volunteers that are taking time away from their lives, knocking on doors, making phone calls, signing postcards, speaking to their friends really matters, because we'll outwork them. There are a lot more of us than there are them. They'll outspend us, but that's been the story of my career.
I'm guessing that's your answer when you're asked, why is this the most expensive race in the country right now?
In the country, in Ohio history by a long shot. It's the most expensive because I've devoted my career to taking on Wall Street. Our bill to called the Recoup Act to hold big bankers accountable. I spent my career taking on the drug companies, and we won. We capped the price of prescription drugs at $35 a month, and the out-of-pocket cost for seniors at $2,000 a year. I've taken on interest groups, taken on the railroads in East Palestine. So, of course, they're going to spend tens of millions against me. But voters voted. They think voters are stupid in Ohio, and they're wrong.
I know you've answered this question, but again,
so why do you ask it again?
The value of this instead of being at the convention, perhaps getting a speaking slot.
Yeah, first of all, I like being home. I like spending the night in my house, in my bed with my wife. I like the idea of working around the state. I've been in, I was in Shelby County in western Ohio, a very conservative, mostly Republican area. I was in Toledo yesterday with the Wood County Republican sheriff and the Democratic sheriff in Lucas County. Both of them endorsed me. I've been working with both of them. I was in Youngstown earlier talking about pensions. I'm in Southern Ohio today, so lots of work to do. Love being home, and I will continue to do this work in Ohio.
Do you not want this election to be nationalized?
I want this election to be between two candidates, one of whom has fought for Ohio every time I've had a chance to in every situation, and the other one who's looked out for himself and fleeced his workers and lied about selling cars that were made in China and said he doesn't sell. All those things that say you can't really trust this guy, and the fact that 57% of Ohioans voted for a constitutional amendment on reproductive rights, and Bernie Moreno still says I'm 100% pro-life, I'm for a national abortion ban, even though the voters of Ohio said no. And that's a pretty arrogant way to look at things. I don't care what the voters said. I'm going to do my own thing, and that's what he's done.
We have time for one more question.
Do you plan to campaign with the Vice President if she comes to Ohio?
I'll campaign with her or with Tim Walz. I mean, I think they probably don't spend a lot of time here because we're not the swing state. We're about a 5.